Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to begin this lesson by giving all the praises, all the honor, and all the glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai Ba'asham Rachak Wadash, the honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, peace and blessings to the elect. Alright, this here is Armor 1 from the Great Millstone Camp in Trinidad. Coming back to do another edification through the Holy Spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. And this lesson is, well, you see in the screen. I don't want to quote, I don't want to say it, I don't want to say it. But you read the screen, you go see what the aim. When you read the screen, you will see the aim, because it is what it is with these people. Now we will talk about the small hats. Alright, small hats in the entertainment industry. And why I'm doing a video like this too is because when I watch, right, like you're watching movies and you look up certain actors, you look up the actors, like every actor going back to the small hats. Like they have small hat they could identify as a small hat. That man who is hidden small hats. Hidden. There's crypto small hats hidden, and they're in the industry. But the point is, I'm now reading through a book there, and the book saying that by the late 1800s, the small hat community in the States, in the United States, was about 0.5 compared to about 50 million small hat people in the US. It was about 0.5. But they still managed to maintain all this power in the US. And there's a reason for that. Where's the reason for that? The people who rule on this earth, the bankers, are small hats. So they look out for theirs. Alright? So right there you could see just by that, because the reason why I'm doing this video too, it getting to the elite banking families. They are small hats. Right? They are 1948ers. They are the ones who funded the whole go back to the mainland in 1948. They funded that. They started that. Right? They funded that. And you see it have people who does like when you go on YouTube and thing, and you ask about let me say the Red Shield, the Rothschilds, you type up, they are still the richest family in the world. You type that up, and you would see that they lose their wealth, and they don't have all this money that the people that the biggest conspiracy theorists. There's a big target to conspiracy theorists and whatnot, so forth and so on. But that is bullshit. How American Jews built Hollywood. You see how American small hats, they built Hollywood. They built Hollywood. And that is not no lie. That is a fact. Because you're watching, like when you go into music, Rick Rubin, and they just end up in the top positions. Rick Rubin, Leo Cohen, Jimmy Iovine, right? Them is musical producers. They behind the scenes. I'll just show you some. No, I will just read a precept. Excuse. I just read a precept there real quick. I'm gonna read a precept and then I will show you something. At the end of the day, we had to read the scriptures. Book of Isaiah. Where is it? Right, Isaiah 47. And I read straight to the point. It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." Right? So, the nakedness of the so-called white race are being uncovered. Look, now, everybody know they in the power seat, but how the hell such a small group of people could end up in the power seat? And I telling you, I feel the people down here and all, the elite group down here and all, which they are called Syrians, they could also and all be small hats hidden. Yeah, I'll do some research on them. They could be that. But anyways, how a small group of people in the US could attain such power, and all these so-called natural born Americans over there? Because the elites, the rulers, are small hats. So they look for their people. Remember, they had to look for the people that is theirs. And that's a natural thing. It's a natural thing. That is why they're so successful. Anyways, right? So I was going to look up let's watch this, Watch this. Watch what I look up, because I looked these men up last night. Rick Rubin, right? Rick Rubin, American producer. Frederick Ray J. Rubin, right? Bam, 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 right? What is that, right? Right. 59 years, going on 60 years old, right? Young so-called J. Right. Them days, he young, in them time, he now come out. He's now 59, so back then he would have been young with Run DMC, labels, Def Jam, American Colombians, Warner Brothers. All these are small hat companies. When he was with the young Run DMC, early life, Rick Rubin's wife, 12 years, blah, blah, blah. Frederick J. Rubin was born in Long Beach, New York, and grew up in nearby Lido Beach. His father, Michael Mickey, was a shoe wholesaler, and his mother, Linda, a housewife. He is of what descent? Bam, right, I won. And them fellas was in top positions. It's the same thing with this guy. This guy, he small hat. Well, everybody know that. This guy here, since the other day I was watching, he had a big problem with what is his name? This guy, Jerry Cross. He had a big, because I was watching on ESPN. It just changed. And this documentary came up with Michael and right, and this guy was having a big problem with Phil Jackson and Michael, and I'm like, and it's like he have a big say, and he's just a scout, right? But he's like a nobody. Watch him good. Watch the guy good. Fuck, who he is? So short he is, right? Get some images of him. Watch him. But he had a big say. He had a big say, right? Because according to the interview, it was like wherever he said, he wasn't even the owner of the team, but it was like wherever he said was going. Jerry Krause. No, he dead now, right? But let me go and see what is he early career, right? Krause was born in 1939 to a what family? See, that is the family. Small hat. And in every powerful position in the US or in the world, you could extend it to the world, is because the you will see a small hat in a powerful position, because they are the ones that ruling this world. Because these people here, they are small hats, right? See, the Rothschild family is a wealthy Ashkenazi Jewish family, originally from Frankfurt, that rose to prominence with Maya Amschel Rothschild. See that? So that is why it have people in the States have a serious problem with them. Even Edomites quarreling with them and telling them, well, you take all the wealth for yourself. They're being made out. Everybody seeing who these fucking devils is. So I'll go and read a little piece of the book but I was just reading, but I'm going to an excuse of here. This Jeremiah 49 and verse boom 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 10. It says, but I have made Esau bare. I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Right? So, the Most High exposed this devil. He can't hide himself no more. Because when I was watching the interview, I was like, but what? This Jerry Krause or whatever his name. I said, well, how he had all this power to mash up because they say he wanted to mash up the team that had to rebuild and whatever. I said, but how he had all that power? What the man ain't even looking like nothing, you know? But he had all this power to mash up because when the Bulls was winning ring after ring after ring after ring. So I said, I'm gonna look up the ethnicity. Boom. Never fucking fails. And you see, anytime you see in there in a certain powerful position, and like wherever they say goes, because they go back to the small hats. That is how it is in this whether they crypto small hat or whether the openly a small hat. If they have enough certain influence on the world, they go back to them. And that is facts. That is facts. And that is the book I'm reading here. Right? So, they're talking about small hats in America. Right? No, I just go in and get the points, right? I just go and get the points. Right? It says, I will leave out the J. I will say the J's for the small hats. J's believe that American principles echoed Judaism, J's values. The name of this book is the name of this book. What the fuck is the name? It's a PDF I now download. Right, well, I didn't see meaning in this one. J's in America, I guess. That is name. Right? Right. Okay, let's go back again. I was reading, right? It says J's believe that American principles should echo Jay's values, even if the application of these principles varied from one state to another. Throughout the 19th century, Jay's America articulated a new vision of what Jay's life should be. Throughout the century, 19th century, reshaping religious practices to fit the distinctive American reality of the open society. In the 1880s, which is what I was now saying, there were about 260,000 Jays among over 50 million inhabitants of the United States, constituting a small minority of only 0.5% of the population. See? So, how? You such a small minority of the population. How do you attain all this power in the so just now I feel our brother call him. Let me just pause this. Hey, message instead. So, how do you attain all this power? 0.5%, that 50 million people. The reason why they could attain all this power at this time here, the Red Shield, right, had multiple banks in the US. By this time here, right, the Red Shield had, well, the charter for the second bank of the United States, which was Red Shield control, had been shut down. I believe that was by Abraham Lincoln or Andrew Jackson. One of them, can't remember, because two of them get shut down and never renewed. The first bank and the second bank. And then they opened the third bank of the United States, which is known as the Federal Reserve. If it's a nice government name. But besides that, they couldn't open the central bank. They had hundreds of banks operating in the US, right? They were the power. They were the power from Europe. They were the power in Europe, and they were establishing themselves in the US. They sent across hundreds of their people, hundreds of thousands of their people that was not living good in Europe. Go over in the new land and live good. We will make sure that you live good. You will be in powerful positions in the new land. Because everywhere you look, the so-called Jays have power in the new land. They live good. You don't see so-called Jays in the US living in poverty. Hell fucking no. Right? And they be in the most powerful. They be television producers, actors, right? And everything like they touch, music producers, whatever. The entertainment industry is totally dominated by them. The banking industry is totally dominated by them. And that is because the most powerful, because this is also to disprove all these idiots who say that the Rothschild lose their power. The most powerful group or family on the earth or people on the earth are the Rothschilds, and they are, as we just read, so-called Jews. They are Jews, right? So they look out for theirs in the US. Doors open to you just because you're born of a J. Yes, a J. That door just open, right? Hey, I sure if I type up and like Buffett and them, Warren Buffett, you'll get them as that too. Klaus Schwab and these guys, right? They are that. Sure if I type up that. And all of them just work for Nathan and what is the name? Evelyn and all, I can't remember, David and them fellas and them Rothschild. It says of the population, right? The Jays religion as practiced in the United States was largely reformed through Jayism, a mode that articulated traditional Jewish practices in numerous ways, with the intent of modernizing the faith. In addition to the synagogues, American Jews established new fraternal organizations to address their changing needs. In the 1880s, I jump to the next paragraph, American Jewry was profoundly transformed by a wave of immigration from Russia, Poland, and Ukraine. About 2.5 million Goldstein, about 2.5 million people. These were Yiddish-speaking Jews who settled mainly in the industrial centers of American cities, especially in the garment industry, near New York's port of entry, and the cigar-making factories in Philadelphia and Boston. These new immigrants' backgrounds were different from those of their German predecessors. They came from small cities and villages where they had lived in almost exclusively Jewish environments, now living in close proximity to non-Jews. East European Jews found that their main challenge was how to Americanize without losing their Jewish identity, whether defined in religious or secular terms. By the turn of the 20th century, huge Jewish enclaves emerged in major industrial cities such as Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston, and Baltimore, where factory jobs were plentiful, but the immigrants who had to struggle with poverty, diseases, and poor living environments. Since most Jewish workers concentrated in the garment industry during the early 20th century, they created influential Jewish unions and the International Ladies Garment Workers Union and the Amalgamated Clothing Workers of America, although both had a minority of non-Jewish, mainly Italian members. So, well, you can read through this whole book. I will read through this whole book, but I just was, while I was reading, I say, let me do a view, because Esau is made out, alright? He is made out. Everybody knows who he is. He can't hide anymore. He can't play tricks anymore. We know him, alright? And anybody who discrediting that the Red Shield, right? That the Red Shield lose their power. They didn't lose shit. They have all the power that they had, and more. They have more power actually. Alright. The scripture says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Job 9:24. Right? It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who's that wicked? That wicked is this guy. See this guy here? That is the chief wicked. Name that is seen on the screen. And even if let's just name Moses Levi. right? Moses Levy may refer to Moses Levy, Pennsylvania, and nah, not that fucking nigga, no he. Nah. David Levy and Moses Levy, they were slave owners. They had slave ships. Nah, not no businessman. Okay, is that right? Is he going right? Yeah, just right. Shh, bro, what's going on here? Right, right? What the fuck? Wow. Wow. Moses 1665. I'm gonna look that up. On no books. Right. Moses Raphael Levy, son of a chief rabbi, right? These guys, along with the brothers, is a whole heap of so-called Jews, right? Birthplace Spain. That the so-called take on the name of the Lord, right? Yeshua, but that is not the name of the Lord. New York County, United States, son of Isaac Halevi and Halevi, husband of wife, father of Diane, chief rabbi. These men and them were fucking slave owners, slave ship owners. Why this coming up right through? What is that? Joshua? Who's that? Fuck is that? Slave trade. Right. Was a Moroccan Jewish businessman and ardent social and religious reformer born into an elite Sephardic Jewish family in Morocco. Levy migrated to Gibraltar as a child and later established himself as a slave merchant in the Caribbean with extensive business dealings in England, Europe, and the Americas. After amassing a fortune, Levy ended his business career in favor of a life centered on philanthropic causes. After amassing a fortune, he ended his business career in favor of a life centered on philanthropic causes. And what is them? You see these fuckers like to call themselves philanthropists and all kind of shit. Philanthropic, what is that? Of a person or organization seeking to promote the welfare of others, generous and benevolent, charitable, generous, benevolent. But you had Jake in slavery. He was a merchant of slavery, and he was a small hat, and there was a bunch of them. So if you look up small hats, Half-Truths and History. They had a big, because right now came in me through the apostles and him did a video on that. They had a big hand to play in, a big part to play in slavery, right? Big part to play in slavery. There are some audiences in North America today who find it difficult to understand past societies and their value systems, and who think a transgression in the past, however distant, invalidates activities or ideas of the present. Yes, some people do. For these people, the finding that even one Jew participated in the slave trade in the 18th century invalidates Jewish political support of civil rights. It should. Or integration in the 20th century. One outcome of the Jewish participation in the slave trade, which asserts that Jews were the majority of slave owners in the US and played a major role in the slave trade everywhere. It is in this context that Eli Faber wrote his scholarly book on the participation of Jews in the slave trade and slavery. He has provided the basic numbers that can be established on the relation of Jews and, let's say, African, but these Israelites. So, in reality, like Edomites and Israelite slaves, the English and Dutch colonial worlds. I don't need to read anymore. See, they don't say it already. So, they play the majority. They had to play the majority part, because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and these men, the Red Shield, the Rothschilds, had Jews. They had Jews, right? And they came into power. The father was born in 1644. 1744. But the Jews, their father, most of us born in that he was a court, something in court for the elector of Hesse. But they go back before that. Can't find the history, but they go back before Miami Shell they were big. Then they asserted themselves even bigger by lending money. But they weren't some clowns because they used to live in a 5-story flat in Frankfurt, sharing it with the chef. So how 5 stories big, that big house, bro? Fuck, you live in a 2-story in Trinidad, you live in good 5 stories. Anyways, they just established themselves more coming down the years. But the Jays, they are the ruling family on the earth. Everybody knows that. And the top of that family is the Rothschild. Their wealth ain't going to place. They still have all their wealth and more. So with that, I'll give all praises, because the scripture says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. These Chinese ain't on them level. These Chinese ain't on their level, bro. They opening sweatshops in China. They opening sweatshops in Taiwan and all these other countries. And we have a little big sweatshop in the US. You don't see Edomites working there sewing or sewing clothes on and like that. It's other nations. So there's the powerhouse. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Anyways, with that, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Akakwadash. Hopefully it was edified. Until the next time, Shalom.